Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. My name is Rebecca Selby. I'm the marketing manager here at OPTUS. We're going to give it just a few seconds for everybody to hop on, and then we'll get started. While we're waiting, just if you have a question, feel free to chat that or use the Q&A section. We'll get to questions at the end of the presentation. We'll read through those and get those answered. Looks like we've got a good group of participants coming on. Yeah, it looks like we're ready to go, Mark. I want to introduce Mark Duckworth, the founder and chief customer officer at OPTUS. You guys probably know him well, but take it away, Mark.
Thanks, Rebecca, and great to see everyone. Thanks so much for taking an hour of your day and joining us this morning. Really what we wanted to focus on is UCaaS. So we want to have a really more of an open conversation about UCaaS as a technology and really how you apply that in your business and how OPTUS helps you apply it. So we'd love to get tons of questions both during the webinar, but also one-on-ones after the webinar. Our goal is to help guide you through this process, help you enhance what you're doing already in your business, and obviously be more successful. So with that in mind, let's jump right in. What I want to start with, and you guys have seen some of this already, but I want to be really clear about the importance of what we're seeing in the market trends, right? So UCaaS has been a technology now that's been out there for going on, eight years plus, but the reality is in the last 3 to 4 years, especially in SMB, UCaaS has not just taken a foothold, but really accelerated adoption and conversion of many customers, including probably some of your existing base. So when we look at UCaaS and the market shift around UCaaS, I want to point out a couple things that are incredibly important. So as you think about where your business is today and where you want it to be 5 years down the road, I want you to really think about these two statistics that are highlighted. 38% of businesses today, you say they're planning on making a move to cloud with their communications technology. That's almost 40%. That is huge. That's today they're saying they're making that shift. 61% of businesses that have traditional phone systems, in many cases, this is your entire customer base, are going to adopt a VoIP-based phone system at the end of their contract, which will largely be UCaaS. This market is growing exponentially. At the end of 2024, which is 4 short years away, this is going to be an $80 billion market. So I say these things just to really double down on the fact this market is, it's in transition, right? The market that we've grown up in and lived in, many of us, is in transition. Probably this is the biggest market shift since VoIP was introduced beginning of the 21st century. I want to share a screen with you that's near and dear to me, and certainly when we look at our legacy phone business, right, this is how we measure kind of this market shift internally. You can see this same shift, and this is really the core reason we adopted a UCaaS strategy going back a couple years ago, but really while we've been really focused on helping our dealers, our most important customers, really make this technology shift and or enhance your own UCaaS strategy if you already had a partner, as we really navigate this road forward together. So these are the things going on in the market. I think it's really important to start off with these couple of slides. I want to talk about OPTUS'S voice product strategy, right? We have other products as well, but as it relates to voice products, we have a very broad and very deep partnership with some key partners here I want to talk about. So ours is not a one-size-fits-all. It's really understanding your business model and really, looking at what your needs are, whether that's a combination of on-prem, hosted, whether that's primarily hosted, and helping you pick the right partner. So with NEC, many of you are NEC dealers through OPTUS today. We offer their entire suite of on-premise solutions, whether that's their SB products, their 3C products, the SL products. We support all those products today with professional services. We've also been focused on NEC Blue, right, which is a combination of their most recent UCaaS offering, SIP trunks, and backup as a service. So there's a whole portfolio with NEC Blue that we've been helping our dealers understand and sell. Spectrum VoIP, which is a fantastic partner in this UCaaS space. They've got some unique offerings in the marketplace, a pure UCaaS play. We love them. They've done a great job. Many of you guys are already dealers for Spectrum VoIP. Vonage for Business. Vonage is a market leader. They've got industry best API integration suites. They've got contact center solutions. This is a fantastic portfolio. We like them a lot as well. And Zoltus. Zoltus is a great partner. They've got a combination of on-premise solutions, cloud solutions, and the ability to marry the two. So I just want to kind of go through those just to reiterate that we've got a fantastic suite of products to really help you and help your business. What we want to be able to do is consult around what is that 5-year vision, how do we help you meet it, and what are the products that align best to really help you financially and strategically with the migration over these next several years. So I want to take a second and talk about the UCaaS business model. It's incredibly different than the on-premise world and really how it works. And you've got to think about this not just in terms of what it means today, but what it means longer term for you as a business owner, business operator. And so we're going to spend some time talking about that and really how it applies to your business specifically. There's a few key things here with UCaaS that I want to point out. It provides a lot of visibility, scalability, and flexibility that traditionally, a dealer and a VAR hasn't had in an on-premise world. If you've sold mostly on-premise solutions, that's been a majority of your business. Every month you start anew. You go out and you have to figure out, okay, what am I going to book this month? What am I going to install? You get caught up in the installation cycle. It pushes out, new deals. A lot of things there. With UCaaS, that's not the case. You still have to worry about the sales cycle. I don't want to minimize that, but every month you come in, you've got a residual revenue stream that's already created that'll be both around your professional services that we'll talk about later, and the annuity that you're getting from the service provider in some cases. So really important, if you could build a business model and you came in and you had $10,000 of residual revenue built every month before you flipped on the lights, that's really where you want to be down the road, where we want to help you get. All of us were blindsided this year with COVID. The shutdowns that started happening, into March, early April, challenged all of us for really, a couple months, in a pretty tough way. Have started to rebound since, but really been a challenging environment. The other thing too about UCaaS and about residual revenues is, if the business scales down for whatever reason, you still got that base again. So you're not dependent upon that whole sales cycle, installation cycle of on-premise. And this at the end, really just better helps you manage your cash flow, helps you grow with minimal, expenditure and risk. UCaaS, it doesn't require the heavy investments in both inventory, headcount, training, certifications that you've always had in the on-premise world. So there's a lot of things with UCaaS that are really important that you need to mitigate, moving forward. That said, there's a lot of things that are going to stay as is in UCaaS, in particular your UCaaS partnership with OPTUS, right? So OPTUS is still going to be here to help you with, expert pre-sale support. We're going to help you with consultation and even customer engagement. We're available to help engage in end user deals, help you with your value proposition, help you with professional services. If you're rolling out a multi-site customer throughout the United States and you don't have resources, all those things we're going to help you with. And just like with an on-premise solution, you can still make a lot of extra money providing professional services. We'll talk about that later, but there's tons of things you can and should be selling, with UCaaS. Some changes with UCaaS, and most of all these are incredibly positive. So we talked about really scaling the business different and not, needing all the heavy resources in headcount, training, et cetera, that you did in the past. You're no longer responsible for the billing and collections. That's huge. You can either choose to do installations or not do installations, right? You never had that flexibility before. If you sold something, it was your responsibility to install it and maintain it. So based on where you want to go with your business, and everyone's different, that could be something of interest. You can control these customers with a UCaaS provider, right? They're always your customer. They're always going to rely on you. But again, you've got someone else out there helping with the contract renewals and helping with the support. So again, that's something different than you've had in the past. No money comes out of pocket for system purchases. So this is huge, and we all work on this, every month, right? You got to buy a system. We got to manage credit. That's a partnership between OPTUS and NEC Financial or a financial institution that might be your bank. There's a lot of things there that you've got to think about that really you don't have to worry about anymore with UCaaS. You can earn extra dollars if you're selling carrier services or other solutions to your customers. So upgrades such as backup as a service, disaster recovery as a service. So many things you can attach to this model. It just becomes a much more simplified sales process and business management process. We think those are all positive changes long term in the business model. If we look at UCaaS cash flow, this is something that's near and dear to all your hearts. I want to do a couple, quick comparisons, not just the CPE, but some of the partnerships. With UCaaS, the difference is you've got to look at it differently, right? You've got to look at it, what am I building down the road? What am I trying to achieve 5 years out? And that's really a different model with UCaaS, because really you're building a long-term annuity, whether it's with your professional services and your help desk, if you're really building more of that MSP model, or if it's the annuity you're getting back from the service provider. So let's take a little bit of time and talk about, what does the model look like financially if I'm selling UCaaS versus a traditional CPE. And let's look at it both in month one revenue and then the full contract value. So I had Rebecca just build, this is hardware only. This doesn't, include any professional services. You would get professional services additional no matter what you sold, and those things would be somewhat equal. But just on a 15-seat customer, we're focused on SMB because that makes up the majority of your customer bases in a 3-year contract, which is pretty average, right? So if we look at month one revenue, right, if you sold an on-premise solution, we'll use NEC as an example here, a 15-seat system, you're going to make roughly $1,600, right? If you sold NEC Blue, you're not going to get very much in month one. If you sold Spectrum VoIP, because how they pay the deal up front, you're going to get $1,550 all up front with them. Again, if you're doing the installation, you're going to get additional money for that. With Vonage, you would get $724, so about half the amount, and with Zoltus, just a little bit to start. So that's really what month one looks like. But where you can really see the difference is if you look at the full contract revenue, and this is where it gets really interesting, right? So with the NEC, both the Blue and the 9100 largely the same, Spectrum VoIP largely the same. Vonage, you get an extra $1,000 over that 3 years. Zoltus, you're going to get a couple extra $100. So depends on what's most important to you. Do you need to collect the money up front? Do you want to see that more in month one or year one? Or are you trying to build, more of that annuity model where you're worried about really getting to that point where you've got $10,000, $20,000 in monthly annuities coming in every month before you sell anything new, right? The other thing that's really interesting about this is just really a 36-month contract and doesn't, include the professional services. So if you sell a hardware-based on-premise solution, that $1,575 is a one-time opportunity. Every one of these UCaaS deals, that's going to continue, right? You're going to continue to collect that as long as that is your customer and they've stayed contracted with that service provider. So really important to delineate between those two models. Something else I want to talk about is multiple providers, right? So I think that what we've seen and what you've seen is you're always going to have your favorite. There's always going to be the best fit for your business. What we want to do is help you find, what is that ace in the hole that really marries up with your model and really helps take down 80 to 90% of your opportunities, right? That is your core bread and butter partner. And we want to really spend a lot of time not just helping you vet that, but onboard that partner, make sure that you're successful with them. But what I would also challenge you with, and we've seen this many times, is if you're providing multiple quotes to customers, again, you're going to win more business. What we know in this space is, this is not a one size fits all. And if you're only leading with one provider, you're going to lose business out there, right? You're going to see it's going to happen. So we recommend having at least 2 providers and providing 2 quotes and 2 demos for every deal. You're going to win more business, and you're going to win some deals that you would lose. We also want you to partner with us on bandwidth, right? We've got a great partnership with Sandler. They're a fantastic master agent. Some of you guys are using them already. They can help us with the bandwidth piece. So, you need to be maximizing your deal, helping the customer maximize their bandwidth, anytime you're selling UCaaS. And let's make sure that we're quoting, a new fiber connection. It could be, something as simple as FiOS. It could be AT&T ABF, which is their UVerse product, or it could be, a managed fiber solution. So let's make sure that you're doing that and getting that extra revenue, and it also helps the quality of your deal. So a couple of things that we want to talk about here is this extra income. You're going to make more money if you're providing 2 quotes, 2 demos. We want to have you align with a primary and a secondary as far as a UCaaS partner, and then we want to make sure you're quoting bandwidth on every deal. If you're selling a phone system, if you're selling a traditional on-premise phone system, we want you selling SIP with that, right? So we've got NEC SIP circuits, and Sandler certainly provides SIP as well. There's lots of additional ways with UCaaS you're going to make extra money, and these things are critical. So when you think about building a UCaaS practice, these are things that you want to think about. A lot of customers are going to need network infrastructure upgrades, and they would need it if they just moved to pure VoIP on an on-premise solution. But that could be everything from cabling upgrades to their network, LAN WAN hardware. You might have an opportunity to sell them new PoE switches, maybe a new router, maybe a new firewall. So those are all opportunities for you, making sure that you refresh that network. Professional services. The customer still needs someone on UCaaS to come out and do these things. It could be installing the client application on their PCs. It could be simply connecting, the VoIP, desk phones, if they're going to have desk phones as well, doing the cable management. All those types of things, if you provide the implementation, you're going to make extra money. The end user training, right? Again, you don't want to diminish your value. Those are things they need you to do. You need to provide a quote to do that. Something else that's incredibly important, every UCaaS deal you offer, you should provide managed help desk for that. You should provide, basically create that tier 1 help desk that you sell in every deal. And it's just a couple dollars a seat, but it adds up. If you're selling, let's just say it's $3, $4 a seat, you want them to call you for every Mac, for every ad, everything they've got going on in that. And then also too, if they have a bandwidth issue, so that really allows you to make yourself incredibly sticky and valuable with these customers, and really rely on you for everything, right? So if you build that help desk model, again, that's going to provide you that ongoing customer relationship where you are the one they depend on for everything. And that's really what you want to be. Not only is it extra money, it really provides you that ongoing connection to the customer. You don't have to with UCaaS. The other value is if you want to create just a sales model and you don't want to build a help desk model, again, certainly the service providers offer that, but we recommend that you provide it. I want to spend a little bit of time and talk about how you position UCaaS to your customers. It's a little bit different than a phone system. In the past, we've always thought about a phone system as kind of that core utility. It's kind of the, sometimes the internal IT is kind of the core plumbing of the business from an IT infrastructure, the phone system, the LAN, WAN. It provides some functionality, but it's fairly basic. I mean, it provides a ton of features, but it's pretty, it's gotten pretty basic anymore, especially with cell phones, et cetera. So with UCaaS, that's no longer the case. There's a lot of business advantages with UCaaS that you can talk about that are exciting and really will allow you to win more deals. So when we think about the business benefits, support, and ROI, this is really what you want to focus on, right? So there are so many benefits with UCaaS that they can run and manage their business differently than with a traditional phone system. This is really your lead. You're no longer selling just a phone system. You're selling disaster recovery, business continuity, integration to some of their internal applications, whether that's a CRM, or maybe a back office system. It could be managing call flows better across multiple sites. There are so many things when it comes to business benefits that will either enhance what they do and how they take care of their own customers and increase their sales or reduce costs on the back end. There's a ton of soft costs with UCaaS that you can focus on that have tremendous value and ultimately the decision-making process. Support. The support here is easy, right? So basically the day-to-day use, they're going to be able to do things more easily. You're going to be able to do things more easily. It's just a simplified support model, huge advantage. And then ROI, many customers look at the ROI as the single largest advantage of fly with switch. All these customers know in the back of their mind, they need to switch to the cloud. You don't need to tell them that. When we do surveys of customers and we talk to people, they all know they need to get there. They don't always understand the why. They don't always understand the how and what the costs are. And if you build this model correctly, and we're going to talk about how to do it, this is how they trust you, and it's easy for you to walk them through these steps. What we also find is in so many cases, I would say probably 50 to 60% of the cases, automatically, these will be ROI neutral to ROI positive without getting into the business benefits. We look at those as slam dunks. When you can go and talk to a customer about, here are the benefits of this technology, and by the way, it's not going to cost you anything more than what you're already spending today. It's an easy sell, an easy transition. Getting to that really starts with a very thorough discovery, and we're going to give you these tools as well, but we've developed a basic, this is a channel UCaaS sales discovery checklist. These are all the basic things you need, and you can customize this and add fields that may be helpful in your business, but you got to start with a good, thorough discovery, right? You want to understand, what their current phone system is, who is their current provider for all their analog lines. It could be a PRI circuit, whatever it is. You need to really nail down into the bandwidth, what's going on there. What are the current hardware they have in place? Is it going to be okay? Do they have PoE switches? Do they have a router that's going to work? And then what are the other, UC platforms they may be using, to really enhance the tools they don't have today? That could be conferencing, that could be web meetings, such as Zoom, GoToMeeting, we see that a lot. That could be some mobility apps, tons of stuff, these customers have added on because the phone systems they've had just can't do it. So you want to really get down deep in those ROI and those business benefit questions, in that first consultation you have, with the customer. From there, what you're going to do is you're really going to build an end user benefit model. You're going to help them build basically a use case and candidly an ROI justification that really segues you into the, again, not only is this better for your business, it's either going to be the same money or no money. And that's what we're going to talk about, next. So the business benefits to UCaaS are obvious in some cases, right? But I want to talk a little bit about these things. But the scalability and flexibility with UCaaS is nothing like we've ever seen in traditional phone systems. It's a game changer, right? They all come with mobility. They all come with both voice and chat on the communication side. They've got video meetings and web meetings, all as standard functions. All the products that we provide you, these are all table stakes for the UCaaS providers. What I would say is, where it gets really interesting and why it really matters which one you pick is because they could really be different on some of the expanded business benefits. So when it gets into some of the file sharing, the team collaboration solutions, they can look and feel a little different, right? They're almost all going to have, these integrations. So all standard integrations back into Salesforce, maybe a Sugar or some other CRM, it doesn't matter. Microsoft Teams, Gmail, the Gmail suite of, solutions, or the Google, suite of solutions, Outlook 365. These are things your business clients are using today. Your ability to integrate these and clean these up and simplify what they do is huge. And then a lot of them, a lot of the tools, the platforms we offer, basically, have an app gallery that has automatic integrations into so many business platforms out there. That's really one of the key differences here is, if you're talking to an insurance agency, what you find in that space, independent insurance agencies, there's probably 50% that are standardized on one certain software, where these service providers have gotten smart and they've got a lot of integrations built already, and it's in their app gallery where you just go in and you very simply set up an integration back to those APIs. Something else too is, again, in a traditional phone system, adding on solutions, are sometimes cumbersome and costly to the customer. You got to add a server, you got to add software, you got to add licenses. That's not the case in UCaaS, right? If they want to add contact center, if they want to add call recording, there's so many things that are easily added on for just a very nominal monthly fee, and really can be scaled down to just a couple users or the entire company, depends on how they want to set it up. Adding these business tools are so much easier in UCaaS. You simply just turn on a license for 2 or 3 team members, or you add a license for call recording. But again, it's much more scalable for the customer. So another business benefit down the road. And then all these API development tools we just talked about as well. So these are business benefits. Again, you really want to start out talking right out of the gate to your customers about these are game changers, right? UCaaS changes how you think about voice communications. It's no longer a phone system that simply provides dial tone to a phone to the desk. It's all these other benefits. APIs, this is probably, again, one of the most underlooked benefits, and will help you win more deals than anything in UCaaS. I would also venture to say that 3 to 5 years down the road, this will be one of the leading, sales integration points with the UCaaS solution as this becomes more prevalent. But basically, API is just really the software interface that really allows the UCaaS solution to talk to a different solution, whether that is, it could be anything from, their core business solution. It could be a Salesforce or a contact center solution. A lot of things there that really work. Highly customizable, based on the business flows and processes. So really, again, you're back into a conversation of how you add value to their business. So this is really the new way of doing business with operating platforms and software. UCaaS has it inherent. It's native to UCaaS platforms, something you should be focused on. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this slide, but this really kind of a customer notification engagement API. APIs can send alerts, right? So maybe, again, if something's set up you're selling into a dentist office or doctor's office, and there's something as simple as appointment reminders, could engage with messaging. It could route a message or a call if you're using an IVR, to a specific person. All those things are part of that API interface. I want to segue here. Obviously, so those are the end user benefits, right? We really need to lead with that because that's a lot of the value add. But some of those are soft costs or they don't fully understand what it means to their business. The end user ROI here, we're going to talk about the hard costs, right? This is where you're going to show them what you're spending today versus what you're going to spend tomorrow. If you've done a really good job of showing them all the business benefits of UCaaS and getting them excited about those things, when you get into this part, this is where you close business, right? It's end user ROI is where you're going to close business. So in the simplest of terms, it's really where you show them, what is their current spend annually versus their future spend annually. And that's really the return on investment. We'll help you with this, if you need it, but we've developed some basic tools. Basically, it's a UCaaS ROI calculator. We'll again share this tool with you after the call, but what you're going to really get into today is really what is that current spend. So if they've got a phone system, what are they spending today on maintenance? What are they spending on support of that phone system? What do they spend for their circuits? They're buying analog POTS lines. They're buying a fractional or full PRI circuit. They're buying a lot of stuff that would go away they're not going to need with UCaaS. They may be spending on extra, solutions such as GoToMeeting or conferencing or Zoom. So those are things that are going to go away. Really important here, you want to understand what they're spending on bandwidth, because what I would tell you is most of these small, medium businesses, even we see it up in the customers that are several hundred employees, they are not managing that bandwidth contract. And almost every time you can use renegotiation of bandwidth to get them a better price and a better circuit that help you with this overall justification. Why it's so important that we work with you to help you, pick and select not just the right UCaaS provider, but you're selling bandwidth with every one of these, right? So all those things work together to help you find what is that current total spend today in this space. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put a UCaaS quote. We're going to put a new bandwidth quote. We're going to consolidate anything that's not needed anymore. We're going to get rid of all those analog telephone lines, that PRI circuit, those Zoom meetings, those GoToMeeting license, all that stuff. We're going to get rid of all that in this future spend, and then we're going to show them very clearly in black and white. Here's what your spend looks like today. We're going to modernize your technology, and here's what your spend is going to look like in the future. Again, I want to be crystal clear. What we see a lot of the times is if you use this right and show them all these costs, almost every time, again, or not, I shouldn't say every time, a high percentage of the time, the cost calculator is going to show them it's either going to be cost neutral to cost savings, which really helps you accelerate a close and make your sale a slam dunk. So really important that you do a good job on this return on investment evaluation and present it back to your end user customer. I want to talk about several ROI turning points, right? So very important to understand all this going in. So probably the most important part is, can all the services that you don't need be removed, right? So did they sign most always you're fine, but it's just important to point out, make sure they don't have any long-term contracts. If they do, what those early termination fees look like. You don't want to invest a lot of time in the sales cycle to find out after the fact that they've got a long-term contract, and really the only early termination option is to buy it out in full. That could be a deal breaker. So learn that stuff early on in your discovery. So really, really important. Almost, I would say a lot of the times bandwidth can typically be increased with the current provider without penalties, and sometimes you can renegotiate it at a lesser cost. Are there UC platforms, that they're going to get automatically in the UCaaS solution, such as, multimedia, conferencing, all these things that would go away that we can eliminate. So make sure we're understanding that. You want to look at the bandwidth speed. UCaaS doesn't take a lot of bandwidth. We always recommend putting it on a fiber connection, whenever possible. FiOS, ABF is fine for small business. Other cable providers fiber is fine, and even coax is fine, again, as long as you have the right LAN and it's set up properly. So just make sure though, but you've got that evaluated and you feel comfortable with the bandwidth. Also, just as important is the network infrastructure, right? So, if you're not upgrading the network infrastructure, just make sure you feel really good about its capacity, right? That they've got PoE switches, if they're not using PoE, that you've got the right configuration. All the UCaaS phones are going to come with a power brick, so it doesn't matter if it's a Polycom or Yealink phone. You have a power brick. You'll be able to daisy chain those with an existing PC. So you got a lot of flexibility in how you choose to install it, but it's just really important to make sure you feel comfortable with this network infrastructure, right? So what I would also say is, depending on what your ROI looks like, you may use that if they've got older network and they need some network upgrades, use that to help you sell a network upgrade, maybe some additional cabling, maybe new PoE switches or a new router, right? So that could be extra money you're putting back in your pocket using that ROI justification to show them, again, how they're going to leverage that money for future technology. I'm going to take a quick pause here and we're going to talk about end user support. So this is a way that you're going to make extra money and you're going to really provide ongoing value for your customer, right? This is actually, helping you create that residual annuity revenue stream. So when you look at selling help desk, and again, I wouldn't build this practice without a strong help desk model, you're going to add $3 to $4 per user, and this should be an automatic. The two things you should include in your professional services offering to your client is obviously the implementation, complete with any network upgrades specific to cabling, LAN, WAN. You also should offer and sell help desk on every deal. The customer doesn't want to do it if you position it right. It looks incredibly cheap month to month, but as you build more and more density, this is something that's really very high ROI for you as a business. When you think about the staff required for help desk and managing these portals and these moves, adds, and changes, it's a help desk, a skilled help desk technician, and not a skilled, technical engineer, someone that's going to need trained and certifications on systems, longer term. So much easier to scale over time than the traditional model that you've had, where you need a technician that's trained and certified on a phone system, and that upgrades every time there's a new system, right? So you can build a very, very profitable, highly profitable MSP model, with help desk. Again, super easy. We're happy to talk to you more about that. There's not a lot of problems that you're managing. Again, most of it is going to be moves, adds, and changes. They're adding a new employee, that an employee quit, they're simply updating that user, maybe dealing with some bandwidth issues or helping them, look at the optimization internally. Almost none of it is back on the UCaaS platform. So super easy to manage for you, easy money to put in your pocket every month. I want to spend a little bit of time and talk about a business case study that has happened really recently, and I think this will really hopefully hammer home the point, and then I'll kind of pause and take any questions from you guys. So if you do have questions and you want to start queuing up Rebecca, please do so using the chat function. Very recently, Rebecca that introduced me is our internal product manager and marketing manager. Her husband owns an independent insurance agency, done incredibly well. Small agency in Jonesboro, do a great job here. By the way, the cutest kids in the business. She want to make sure I pointed that out for you guys. But he had a phone system. He was from a local provider. He was having it leased, spending $229 a month. His internet was $140 a month. He had to buy Zoom meetings because he didn't have any way to meet. That was an extra $15 a month. So spending $384 a month to support a small business, not a lot of money, very justifiable, because this was really the core of how he connected with customers. So something happened though, right? And Service provider hadn't been proactive with him, but out of the blue, in the middle of COVID, March 28th, we had a major tornado hit Jonesboro, and his world changed overnight. So let's fast forward to that aha moment again, and all your customers are going to be having them, whether you're reaching out proactively, whether someone else is calling your customer base proactively and offering this. But current phone systems are not set up for a lot of these, tools that these customers want. There was no mobility. He couldn't, he didn't want to give out his personal number because, and I say no mobility, it's not always easily achieved. There's an upgrade required or a license add-on. He didn't want to give out his mobile number due to privacy, right? And he had to get out and start really dealing with clients in this aftermath of this tornado, dealing with claims, but he needed to keep the business running because the phones were ringing off the hook. So he chose to move to a UCaaS platform. He went out and evaluated, multiple providers. He did this all on his own, by the way. But basically chose a platform that was $92 a month. Internet was more than adequate, so that didn't change. And what he saved was $1,800 a year, but that wasn't the driver. The driver was he needed something that was better than what he had in how he needed to conduct business, and a combination of both COVID and really being able to get out and deal with this tornado. The cost wasn't the top priority. Integration was the key. I mentioned, many of these UCaaS providers have automatic API integrations. His independent insurance agency uses a product called HawkSoft, and HawkSoft serves a lot of the independent insurance agencies. There's the same that serve dentist agencies. There's the same that serve small medical agencies. All these are widely available, in that integration, in that app suite today for the APIs. By integrating very simply to HawkSoft, by the way, it automatically popped a customer record when the call came in. It sent recordings to the HawkSoft customer with one click. It sent out meeting reminders via text. Just so many things. It provided call flows for after hours claims. So many things that helped his business. Didn't cost him anything more, but was a game changer. So what I would argue is, if you, as a service provider, had came into this client proactively and showed him that he was going to save money and get all these things, he's going to buy your solution. And in this case, what happened was that wasn't done. He went out on his own quickly because he needed to change it and did it, and the existing service provider got none of the benefits. So again, you've got to make sure you're the one leading that evolution. So basically, I'm going to wrap up, and then we're going to take questions. But, we are your UCaaS partner. We understand this space. We've got great solutions. We want to help you build a practice that really meets your 5-year goals. It's not just about today. We understand there's a transition period. We've got to keep putting money in your pocket every month. But this is about a 5-year transition period. Selling UCaaS makes sense for your business because if you're not doing it, you're losing customers. It's that simple. You're not going to be successful longer term selling on-premise solutions. Over time, you've got more opportunity to make more money on a residual basis, which doesn't have to stop. You're going to continue to upsell those customers, change those customers, are still your customers. You're going to sell them support solutions, right? So anyway, those are all the reasons that UCaaS makes sense, and we can help you with this. We want to help you and provide that one-on-one sales support and give you the tools to be successful. All of us are available, including me, to help you build this practice, to help you engage with customers, to help you customize these tools in a way that make the most sense for your business. So after the call, what we want to make sure of is that I'm going to come here first, and I'll back up, that you're engaging with your OPTUS team member to really help you build a successful practice. And we get you the right tools in place, the right training in place, not just with the UCaaS provider, but all these business things that are important, incredibly important for you. So we're here. I'm here. You've got great team members that you rely on and trust every day. They're here. Let's set up one-on-one consultations. Whatever you need, let us know, and we're here to help. So I'm going to just address this quickly, and I'll go back to questions. So as an added benefit, obviously the real benefit is implementing a successful UCaaS practice, but as a small thanks for your time, we're giving out 10 $50 Amazon gift cards. They'll be notified via email by 9/22, and we're going to send those electronically to the email address you used to register for the webinar. So Rebecca will be managing that, but thank you very much for your attendance. And I would love to have Rebecca help me if we have any questions. We've got about 10, 15 minutes to answer any questions that you've got.
We have one that's come in from David.
Okay.
Sounds like he may be a NEC reseller for us, and he
Okay.
says, does selling this product go toward our total sales numbers to get the best discount on NEC hardware?
It does. So that's a great thing about partnering with Optus is everything you sell that we offer goes toward a combined discount structure on all products that you are registered to purchase. So again, our job is to really help you be more successful, more diverse, but ensure that obviously, you know, that you're not just expanding your portfolio, but getting the maximum discounts, et cetera, when you do that. Great question.
Doesn't look like we have any more. I can't believe there's not anyone out there that would like to ask you a question. Oh, we've got one. They're funneling in now.
Okay.
What resources are required or expected by customers for help desk? Hours of operation, coverage, etc.
Yeah, great question. Mostly, again, it's 8 by 5. I mean, again, you know, what I would recommend is at least to start is you simply hours of operation. You would offer 8 by 5. As you grow your practice, you can certainly expand that based on the concentration of customers you have. You know, really what we find is based on the tools. I mean, you know, what I would say in the past, you know, a CSR type position, you know, to an IT, a basic IT help desk type position is really what you would need to staff it. And we could provide, you know, more one-on-one assistance with some of those questions, you know, as you really look at it. Here's the thing too is over time, you know, the more skilled field technical people you have, you need to really convert to be more LAN/WAN experts. They need to be helping you install the local area, wide area network, you know, and maybe helping you build that practice. The CSR should be the one that are really helping you with a help desk and the moves, as and changes, and or a basic IT help desk person.
We have a comment from Catherine. She said, great presentation, and she'd like to learn more information about how to structure that help desk model. Sounds like there's some interest in that. Yeah,
we'd love to. So again, please just reach out to your Optus sales rep. Again, you know, this was really designed to be a high-level presentation to share information, to get interest, but we understand that really building a successful long-term practice, you know, take some thought and time, and we want to be a partner that helps you, you know, in that. And we know that may require a one-on-one meeting, which I'm happy to participate. We've got other technical resources, you know, more in tune with the help desk piece that we could, you know, certainly, you know, have participate and help you build a practice.
Looks like those are all the ones that have come in so far. Okay, oh, one more, sorry. Are the slides used here available via email? And I can answer that question, yes. You guys will be receiving an email with the recording. We put the slides in there, as well as those two resources that we talked about, the ROI calculator and the discovery checklist will be in, links will be included in the email to that as well. Give me a week and you'll have it before then. Okay, looks like I think that might be it, Mark.
All right, well, I just want to thank everyone for your time today and your participation. Really appreciate it. We're really excited about continuing to help build this practice. We've seen a lot of momentum in the last year. We're really excited about, building this as we get ready to launch in 2021, and want to work with all you guys to do a great job. So thanks for your time. Have a great day.